Okay, so as we get into the second half of the semester here, one of the things I'm going to start covering is how to use a time-based element. Okay, what I mean by time-based element essentially is motion, right? So the first thing we're going to do today is make a very simple animated GIF. Now I've included the files for a lake, it's Lake Tahoe, with a little bit of the waves lapping up on shore. Okay, now these photos were taken in a camera burst mode. If you have a newer smartphone, you may have this on yours, where you can take 20, 30, 40, 50 pictures at once, kind of like right in a row. All right. Now, videography is beyond the scope of this class. It's its own class. If you are comfortable working in videography, I have no problems with you on your sequential narrative project or on your final using that to create a piece. Okay. For those of you who haven't used that and aren't comfortable with it, I'm going to cover just basics in animation. Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we are going to import this set of photographs, and essentially they're one frame at a time. So instead of opening them, because we want to put them all in one big stack, we are going to go to File, Scripts, Load Files into Stack. All right, it'll bring up this dialog box. You'll have a drop down here. We don't want files, we want folder. You could do files. Then you just have to select everything. It's just easier to do folder. We have everything in the same folder. So I'm going to go ahead and browse to that. Click on Animated GIF. Hit Open. Watch the spinning beach ball of death. Okay. And it's going to put them all here. It's going to tell you what you're about to load into Photoshop. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. And it'll take it a second to import them. And you notice what happens, you'll actually see as it's importing, it looks like it's moving already. Okay. That's because it's showing me each one as it loads it in too. Okay, I think there's a total of like 47 files roughly, between 47 and 50, I forget. Okay, it has now loaded them all onto a separate layer. Okay, second video I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can start to manipulate that. So let me zoom in one. Okay, here's what I want to do. You want to go to Window, and you want to go to your workspace and click on Motion. Okay, it's going to bring this up. Now likely you will have, down at the bottom when you get your timeline, you'll have Create Video Timeline. In this case, we're making an animated GIF. We are going to go ahead and create a frame animation. Okay, so make sure you change it to Create Frame Animation, then click on Create Frame Animation. Here's one where Photoshop to me is not as intuitive as one would think. Okay, because you're like, okay, I want to create it, and how do I do it? You actually click on that, okay, and what it will do is it will load the first file in. All right, now the easiest way to move everything into your timeline is to come over here to your burger stack, okay, and that's what they call those lines, by the way, like a burger menu, because all those lines in a row make it look like a burger somehow. All right, anyway, and we're going to make frames from layers. I'm going to click on that button, and what it will do is it will import all of my frames into a timeline. Down here at the bottom, let me pull it up a little bit. Down here at the bottom, okay, I can now push play, and it's going to show me what my frame animation is going to look like. Okay, there are other buttons here. This one moves from frame to frame, moves back. Okay, this one takes you all the way to the beginning. Right here, this little drop down, you are determining how many times this animated GIF will loop. Okay, so I'm just going to put forever. Okay, these other buttons here, like tweening, this is used in more traditional animation, where you're essentially putting a filler between, like if I made a ball here and a ball on this side, and I had 2 frames, I could tween between the two if I wanted just to move straight across. Right? So rather than having to draw the ball 50 times, I can tell Photoshop and other animation programs it's moving in a straight line from here to here, right? Boom to boom. Go ahead and put in the information, and it'll do it for you. I encourage you, if you want, I'm only covering the very basics in here because this starts to get complex very, very quickly. Okay, so I encourage you, if you're interested, to go ahead and play with this. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to export this, and I'm going to export it as a GIF. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Export and Save for Web Legacy. The reason why it's called this is because most people don't use animated GIFs anymore. They are still occasionally useful. For those of you who design web pages and want to have some small moving element, a little animated GIF takes up almost no room, okay, as far as memory is concerned and as far as how long it takes to download something. When I do that, it's going to bring up my dialog box. Okay. Now on here, it's going to tell me what I'm about to do, right? So my width is 1,000 pixels. My height is 675. I could reduce it here. Looping animation, run forever. I can click the play button here to see what it's going to look like. Okay. Up here, I can choose how I want this to be done. Okay. In this case, with GIFs, you can do transparency. I don't need transparency because there's nothing that's transparent here. Okay. Now, right now, I have it set. It's at 256 colors. Now, remember, GIF is a lossy file format, meaning it makes a smaller file by throwing out information. Okay. So the way GIFs work is they reduce the total number of colors that are found in an image. Just as an example, I can, from, let's make it most extreme, go to 2. This is what this will look like with 2 colors. So not great, but still readable. Okay. Bump it up to 128. You'll notice much better. Okay. You'll see it most in the clouds, because that's where most of your subtlety is between your whites. Okay. That's where you'll see the loss of image quality. Okay. 256. In today's internet, I'm not as concerned about this. 10, 15, 20 years ago, you'd really want to make sure you optimize your GIFs. Okay. And I know that some people pronounce it GIF. That's stupid. It's graphic interchange format is what it stands for. It's not graphic. I don't care. They're wrong. I don't even care that the creator calls it a GIF. That's dumb. All right. So we're going to go ahead. Oh, and by the way, if you want to, you can also compare what they'll look like. Okay. 1 up and 2 up and 4 up. So you can see as you change the quality, okay, what they all look like, right? And in fact, you can even run all 4 of them at once. It's just going to give you those options. Okay. Now I can save it as either optimized, where Photoshop is going to say, hey, look, this is probably your best image quality versus size. I can save it as my original. It's going to make it larger. Again, not as important nowadays. So go ahead and hit save. I'm just going to call it lake.gif. All right, now that I've done that, if I come back out and I open this up with, I'm going to go ahead and open it up with Safari. Okay. I can now post this to the internet and it's going to show motion. Okay. And you'll notice, like, it did a pretty good job, even reducing to 256 colors. You will see in your sky you are going to lose some subtlety. Okay, so in the next file and the next module I'm going to show you is how do we take this now and start to do some interesting effects with it.